Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you, live fake studio audience and everybody joining me out there in Facebook land or YouTube or Twitter or wherever you might be watching this from. But right now, I am going live with my daily live fake talk show, The 420 Report. But if you're watching on the replay, whatever, anybody, just let me know. And, even if you're watching on the replay, leave a comment below. I'll let you know when the JerDog Comedy Roadshow is coming to your area very soon. I got a lot of stuff coming up. And while the audience builds, let me go over just a few of the show dates before I reveal to you the secret sauce of funny. This Friday night, I head to York, Nebraska for a big show at the Elks Lodge. That's going to be a lot of fun. And from what I hear, it's going to be a pretty full house. Tickets are still available. They are still on sale. We're not quite sold out yet, but I predict that we will be very soon. So, Nebraska fans, friends, followers, get yourself over to York. You know, it's that town that's got the big, huge, multicolored water tower. Head on over there for JerDog Comedy Roadshow at the Elks Lodge. And then I drive. I need like one of those Indiana Jones maps where it shows his route while he's flying across the world. You know, the red line. I need one of those things because I'm going from Nebraska, York, Nebraska, all the way to the northeast corner of Wisconsin. It's going to be like an 8 and 9 hour drive in a brilliant routing move on my part to bring the JerDog Comedy Roadshow to Oxford, Wisconsin at the Oxford Pub and Grub. Hey, Brenda, what's up? And that's just a little bit of foreshadowing there. Humpy joining in. What's up, Humpy? Brooks, Donovan is here. Jennifer, Sunnyborn, Trina, Dennis, Missy. How are you guys? Hit the share button if you don't mind, and bring some other folks into the live fake talk show audience. Oh, yeah! And today's drink for Hump Day Happy Hour, a.k.a. the secret sauce of being funny. Or is it? And I'll get to that in just a little bit. But I want to give Brenda and Dennis and everybody over at the Country Bar and Grill in Cedar Rapids, Nebraska, where I brought my show last week. They hooked me up with a little parting gift, which I sure appreciate. And I'm not going to drink all of it because I want to save it and put it in reserve for date night, right? Date night. It's Mrs. JerDog's favorite cocktail is the Jägermeister and root beer. So I got this little gift basket. They're like, we watch your show and we know what you like. We got a bunch of mugs of root beer in here, a few coasters from the Country Inn in Cedar Rapids, Nebraska, and then a nice note. JerDog, a little something to take back with you. You rocked it, Dennis and Brenda. So I figured how appropriate, what a better drink to have on my live fake talk show for Hump Day Happy Hour than the actual Jaeger bottle, the Jägermeister bottle, the bottle of Jägermeister they hooked me up with. So just indulge me for a second while I pour myself a shot in one of these cute little beer barrel, Jaeger barrel shot glasses that Mrs. JerDog and I picked up at a thrift store a while back. And I think this is the first time I've actually used it to do a shot. All right, there we go. I don't want to spill it all over the place. All right. Cheers. Here's to you guys. Thanks for joining in. Stick around for the next 15, 20 minutes or so while I flatten my trap, and I'll reveal to you the secret sauce of being funny? Or is it? Still a little bit of debate about that. But cheers. Cheers to you guys. Thank you for being here. Yeah, buddy. Oh, yeah. All right. And now I'll make a little cocktail to drink while I flap my trap. And somebody asked me yesterday on my live video, they're like, this question comes from Linda Long. She goes, your skin looks really good. What's the secret? Well, here's the secret, Linda. Here's the secret. Lots of moisturizer, lots of Jägermeister. It's just as easy as that. All right. And now I got my cocktail made up. And then I'm getting ready to flap my trap. And along the way, go ahead and leave any comments or questions that you might have, and I'll get to them. You know, that's kind of how I do. Even if I wait till the end of the video, I'll still give you a shout out, and I'll get to your question or your comment, whatever it might be. My comedy mentor, my original comedy mentor, Daryl Humphreys, chiming in. The secret sauce is being funny. That's true. The secret, it's just got to be funny. Some people have it, some people don't. You know, I think comedy as a skill can be taught to an extent, you know, but I don't think funny can be taught. Either you have that X factor or you don't. Or as you like to call it, Daryl, the Burt Reynolds factor. Either people actually want to fucking listen to you, and you actually have the natural ingrained wittiness and timing and the balls to actually get on stage and do that shit.
I've got balls of steel.
Or you just don't, you know, and not everybody has it. But I do think that some people can be taught, they can be taught the skill of comedy. In other words, how to exactly construct a joke, how to deliver the joke, you know, put the words in the right place, deliver it on cue, things like this. If they may or may not ever become a comedic genius, but they could at least get through a 15-minute fucking gunfight show. You know what I'm saying? You know, there are a lot of comedians that I know they're really, really good at the skill, the craft of doing comedy, but you get them off stage and, you know, they're not necessarily the wittiest, most fun people to hang out with, especially some of these old-timey headliners that have been around for like 30 fucking years, and they never, quote, caught their big break, which is a myth in show business anyway. There is no big break. You just get a whole lot of little breaks as you go by being consistent and committed to the craft. You know, the big break it's a fucking myth. You know, it takes guys 20 years coming overnight success. We've all heard that story over and over and over again. Cheers. Cheers to you. Happy hump day, everybody. Hey, Erica. Hey, Tricia. Hey, Daniel. Hey, Kevin. Got a lot of people watching today. Wherever you're watching from, leave a comment below, and I'll let you know when the JerDog Comedy Roadshow is coming to your area soon. Kenzie's here. Good to see you guys. And it's kind of crazy being known as the wacky party animal comedian, because that's not necessarily the lifestyle that I live on a regular basis. You know what I mean? It's pretty much, I mean, one of the reasons why I got into doing comedy to begin with was just so that I could spend, you know, my weekends in a bar and have a reason for that. But it's a trap. It is a trap. It is a trap, because you get a reputation, and then what happens is a lot of times people will send you up shot after shot after shot after shot, you know, because you're JerDog with the crazy party animal reputation, and they don't understand that that's the first time they might be doing a shot, but it's like the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 17th time the comedian has done the shot that night. You know, Sam Kinison used to talk about this in one of his specials where, you know, he was talking about doing lines of coke. And when Sam Kinison rolled into the party, you know, everybody would have like their little teeny pinner line. I don't know what the terminology is. I don't fuck around with that shit. But he would tell this joke, like do this bit basically where everybody would just have like the little sample size of the blow. And meanwhile, they would like pour Sam Kinison this giant, like mountain-sized, this giant trail that led to like the Scarface mountain-sized, you know, pile of cocaine. And they didn't understand why he couldn't handle it. Well, you're Sam Kinison. You know, some of us do somewhat have superpowers. Some of us, sort of. But not all the time, you know. And I like to do a couple. I like to have, you know, one or two in my system, you know, and then maybe a couple during the show, maybe, just to get in that exact right frame of mind where you don't give a shit. Oh, here's one for Sam Kinison. Where you just don't give a shit. And that a lot of times will put me into the perfect mindset to be able to play off the crowd and be really energetic and the life of the party. And plus everybody there is drinking. You know, I'm performing in nightclubs, taverns, neighborhood bars. Trisha, you know what I'm talking about. You've seen that shit go down a time or two up at Cleeton Connie's. You know what I'm saying? But it gets too crazy sometimes. So, point in fact, when about 13 years ago, I think it was, 2005, 2006, something like that, we were shooting our very first comedy on the road documentary to show the people what it was like to bring live stand-up comedy to places completely off the beaten path. And the idea was to try to find the smallest town. Trisha says never, ever, LOL. People try to find the smallest town. We tried to find the smallest town possible where we could still bring in a good crowd of people that appreciated a live comedy show. You know, a lot of times it's like rolling in like a fucking action film, you know?
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
That's a lot of comedians' reactions when they find out that they're going to be playing in some roadhouse in bumfuck Egypt. They don't even want to go. It freaks them out. And I'm like, shit, these are my peeps, man. This is where I'm going to fit in the best. These are the types of people that they're not going to judge. I mean, you got to bring the funny. They're only going to judge you if you're not good, and then they will immediately tune out. They'll immediately go put $1 in the jukebox or start playing pool or whatever the case may be. So a lot of times you go to these roadhouses that are off the beaten path. For a lot of comedians, like they're missing out on a golden opportunity of really developing their skill set, you know, really honing their chops, so to speak. It's a great place to get in your 10,000 hours towards mastering your skill. You know, it's like a lot like when I did the Wild West show, learning on the street. You do hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of shows in not necessarily the best conditions and still make them motherfuckers laugh. Then you got something going on. Then you got something good. So when you do go into a good environment where everything is set up perfectly and the temperature is just right and people are seated right up front and they're raring to go for a comedy club, a traditional comedy club, you can fucking rock it. You can blow the roof off the place, you know. So we would go into these roadhouses, and they're just there to party a lot of times. You know, they want it to be a good show. They definitely want you to deliver the goods, but they also don't want to just sit there on their hands and pay attention and be a polite little audience like it's fucking church sermon. You know what I'm saying? So what they would expect you to do is to hang with them, be able to do the shots that they send to the stage. And I remember when we were shooting Road Dogs, the documentary about doing all this, and we were real green. I mean, I had just started out in stand-up full-time, maybe a couple years in full-time, just trying to figure my way through the whole thing. And I go to this place one year, and they sent up like 7 shots of Jägermeister while I'm doing my 60-minute set. So I'm wind up doing 7 shots of Jägermeister during my 1-hour set. And they're like, whoa, that's the record for this bar. And I'm like, shit, y'all, I made a little bit. I go, y'all must not have been open very long, because if someone like me does 7 shots in an hour and that breaks the record of the bar, what the hell are you talking about? So, you know, I think I did my character Jailhouse Jake or something like that. And when I go into character mode, like, I don't know what it is. It's like some sort of magic happens where I lose all sense of time. I get right into the flow. It's like JerDog Danley doesn't even exist. It's like I actually have fucking superpowers, you know? And so, you know, that's probably why I was able to do the 7 shots. So the next year I go back, and this is the year where we're shooting Road Dogs, the documentary about doing live stand-up comedy, nightclubs, taverns, neighborhood bars, small towns all across the Midwest, off the beaten path, places that have probably never had a live comedy show before, places where most other comedians are even afraid to go into lest they be heckled to death. And so we go back by popular demand, JerDog and cohorts. And we've got the video crew with us. My good pal, Daryl Moon, who I do the Screwlywed game show. He was the one in charge of filming all that. And he even has a lot of those scenes from Road Dogs on his YouTube channel. And I think the entire movie might even be on IMDb or something like that. I'm not sure. So this time around, they go, man, I do my 1-hour set. The crowd is cheering. They're going ape shit. I'm like, I've had a lot of fun with you guys tonight. Have you had a good time with me? Yeah, boo. And I'd done a couple of shots already. So next thing I know, here comes another shot of Jägermeister. It's like, all right, cheers. Thank you, Manson, Iowa, for bringing me out once again for another great comedy night. Boom. Do the shot. Everybody's cheering and applauding. I think I'm about ready to wrap up. Here comes another shot of Jägermeister. I'm like, all right, I'll do another one. Yay. Keep going, encore. I'm like, guys, I've had too much to drink already. I've already done an hour's worth of material. What more do you fucking want? They're like, keep going. I go, all right. Do you agree that I have done an hour's worth of comedy? Yeah. Have I entertained you? Yeah. Have you got your money's worth? Yeah. I will do this shot and I will keep going. But I do not guarantee results from here on out. And I go, so as long as you guys are okay with me shit talking and this turning into a potential disaster, I will keep going. But if I start to suck, it's y'all's fault. I do the next shot at the Jägermeister. Next thing I know, here comes another one. And then here comes another one. I'm getting into my stories. I'm doing my material. I'm doing some new stuff. I'm doing some old stuff. I'm improvising with the crowd, going completely off the top of my head, bringing the other comedians into it, bringing the crowd into it, working the audience, as they say. And here comes another shot. And then the next one has a little Post-it note rubber banded around it that says number 8 record breaker. And I was like, what the hell is that? And they're like, don't you remember when last year you did 7 shots of Jägermeister during your show and that set the record here in the bar? This is the record breaker. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. All right, record breaker, baby. I do the shot. I start doing a little bit more material. And then the next thing you know, I felt a man. It was Rocky Balboa against Apollo Creed going at it for 15 rounds in my stomach. John Donovan, are you talking about when you puked on stage? You got it, brother. You got it. You seen that movie, huh? The next thing I know, a stream of shit just projectiles out of my mouth, flies across the stage, lands on the corner, splatters the entire front row. half the people are booing, half the people are cheering, which, by the way, is the perfect reaction for the JerDog Comedy Roadshow. I fucking love it when half the people cheer me on and the other half is booing me. You know, it's like I said in my video yesterday, I don't mind the haters. I don't mind the critics. I don't put any more stock in the critics and the haters than I put into the fans and the accolades. You know, to me, it all means the same. Just as you're as long as you're responding, as long as you're engaged in the show, I don't give a shit if you don't like it. The worst thing you can do is sit on your hands and do nothing. Throw a fucking beer at me. Obviously, I'll probably take a drink. People are going crazy, and I'm like, oh, the bar owner brings up a plastic bucket, and I just couldn't control myself, right? I just let it go. You know, if you're going to do that kind of thing on stage in front of a crowd as a provocateur type comedian that I am, you got to own it. You just got to go with the flow. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm not going to try to hide this. I'm not going to run away in shame and embarrassment. The show must go on. I'm kind of old school like that. And thank you very much. And, so I keep going, and then I get myself pumped up. I get fired up. I get the second wind, and that's something else I've discovered, you know, it's not just a second wind for the JerDog. Every time I think I've reached my second wind, there's a third and a fourth and a fifth. I've got a minimum 6 wins in my system. So I do like another 45 minutes of material after that. The bar owner at one point comes up and he's spraying like some air freshener around. Half the crowd is just completely disgusted. The other half of the crowd is looking at me with full admiration in their eyes. I get a standing ovation at the end of it. And I go backstage. I'm like, holy shit, man. And did you get all that on film? I go right to the guy filming Road Dog. Did you get all that on film? He's like, you're damn right I did. While we're hanging out in the green room, a.k.a. the janitor closet at the bar, this dude comes walking. He's like, where's JerDog? And I'm like, I'm right here, man. I'm right here. He goes, I just want to let you know I was in the front row, and you got a bunch of that puke on my pants. Look at this. All up and down my jeans. And I was like, I am so sorry, dude. I am so sorry. He's like, no, I want you to autograph them. You go, I went to see the Jeff Foxworthy show. I went to see Ron White show. They never puked on stage. This was fucking awesome. I was like, holy shit. Maybe this is the secret sauce of being funny. Maybe I just got to get tanked to complete oblivion, and that's going to get me my standing ovation and be my claim to fame and lead to my big break. That is not the case. That is not the case whatsoever. A couple shows later, they started sending up shots of tequila, and I was like, hey, I remember the last time I got completely wasted on stage. I got a standing ovation. This time, pretty much the exact same story unfolded, other than having the reputation of the year before doing record-breaking number of shots in an hour. And this time they brought up a 5-gallon bucket, and I could not recover. The crowd was disgusted, only booing me, only leaving, only shit-talking me on their way out. And then I stood up to try to do the big Hulk Hogan comeback recovery scene, and nothing. There wasn't even anybody out there except for a pissed off bar owner, a pissed off bar manager, and their pissed off staff. So it is not the secret sauce of funny. It is not. That was a one-time only deal. And I tell you that story just so that way any comedians coming up in this day and age do not make the same mistake. It was a one-time only, complete anomaly, total freak occurrence, done for the sake of creating a good video to be in the documentary Road Dogs. And if you haven't seen it, I believe it's on Amazon. If it's not on Amazon, it's got to be on YouTube or IMDb or something like that. I'll tag the director in this video, and maybe he can put up a link to the video. You can check it out for yourself. Road Dogs, the documentary. And you know who else is in that with us? Is the famous Dave Attell from Comedy Central's Insomnia from way back in the day. So anyway, if you ever get a chance, check that out. I sure appreciate it. Donovan says, show the video. Show the video. All right, dude. I will try to find it on YouTube. And just for you, I'll definitely post that video. You know what else? It was a while back. I know it's on YouTube because it was discovered by MTV, and they actually played clips of it on their show Ridiculousness. I remember having to sign a media release for that. I never got to see the episode of Ridiculousness on MTV where they showed that because, lo and behold, Mighty JerDog does not have fucking cable television, have not had cable television since 2003. And the reason for that is I just wanted to focus. Well, when I first moved to Chicago doing comedy full time, I didn't have a fucking pot to piss in or a window to throw it out. So it's like trying to save as much money as possible to get my career up and going. But then I was like, once I made a few bucks, I'm like, yeah, we probably could afford to get cable. I'm like, why the hell would I do that? I don't want to pay $100 a month just to sit around and watch the boob tube. And, you know, whatever you want to do, just however you want to spend your time or spend your money, that's up to you. But in all seriousness, maybe consider dropping that cable bill and instead spending that money that you save paying for Cablevision to go out and see a fucking live entertainment event. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm a douchebag. But anyway, it's all good. Humpy, you're okay. Hell yeah, buddy. Hell yeah. Thank you very much. That's right. Some people would say I'm unstoppable. Unstoppable. The Mighty JerDog, unstoppable. And I hope you guys enjoyed that story. I hope you enjoyed this edition of my live fake talk show, The 420 Report. Come see me, Nebraska people, this Friday night. I will be in York, Nebraska at the Elks Lodge. This Saturday night, I drive to Oxford, Wisconsin for a show at Oxford Pub and Grub. And for all of my live viewers right now, Facebook fans, friends, followers, wherever you're watching this on social media, be it Facebook Live, be it Facebook on the replay, be it on YouTube where I archive a lot of these videos. I'll probably definitely be archiving this one, and I will put the link from my YouTube channel to the projectile vomit story, the actual footage from that night, in the comments below when I wrap up. Go check that out if you have not already subscribed to my YouTube channel at The Bar Comic. YouTube at The Bar Comic, and you can see what all the behind-the-scenes shit, all the archival footage dating back well over a decade, the crazy random shit that happens when you bring live stand-up comedy to nightclubs, taverns, neighborhood bars all over the country 100 nights a year. It's all on my YouTube channel. You'll see what it's really like to be a traveling troubadour, genius adventurer such as myself. That's it for today, everybody. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, or as close as possible. Until then, dog bless America. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ai, se eu te pego, ai, se eu te pego.
Wait, I wasn't supposed to stop already. All right, now end. End the video.